Breaking tonight, new evidence is challenging the official timeline of Charlie Kirk's death. Sources claim the autopsy was interrupted, documents were withheld, and cremation was approved before results were complete. Now, one question is spreading across the internet. What was so urgent that the truth couldn't wait? Something seemed odd with the official version of Charlie Kirk's death right from the start. The schedules were misaligned. Claim after claim ran counter to the other. Erica Kirk's lightning-fast attention to detail seemed more like command than sorrow. However, fresh evidence that has gotten out tonight does more than just cast doubt. The whole story is shattered. Involvement in the autopsy was only the beginning, according to a person with knowledge of internal documents. Allegedly, she twisted the truth about it. Allegedly, she hid the real report from everyone. Unbeknownst to the family, she reportedly gave the go-ahead for Charlie's cremation before the results were complete, before the medical examiners had finished their job, and before most people even knew an autopsy had been requested. We need to know why this was an emergency. The reason for the concealment has been explained. Considering that several relatives were clamoring for explanations, why advocate for cremation? What was most important about the report that was redacted? According to those in the know, the declassified documents, timestamps, and call records reveal a frightening picture, one that runs counter to almost all of Erica's public statements. Sources close to the inquiry say she allegedly tried hard to stop the medical evaluation, silence questioning, and destroy physical evidence. There was no sadness here, there was no misunderstanding. Everything points to a cover-up. From here on out, the leak just gets worse. There were many who were disturbed by Erica's handling of Charlie's death even before these papers came to light, before rumors regarding cremation schedules and covert reports circulated. The speed wasn't the only factor, the stillness wasn't the only thing, preciseness was the key. There was an air of meticulous planning, as if every detail had been rehearsed. Seemingly, Erica wanted everyone to believe one story while she was living a different one in private. She reacted with a level of haste befitting sudden bereavement as soon as the word spread. Unlike other families, Erica seemed to have all the answers before anybody had asked questions. The story was hers to tell. Right away, she made remarks. She became the go-between for every piece of correspondence. According to those in the know, she was surreptitiously contacting funeral houses in the hours leading up to the service. However, one particular aspect seemed striking. Erica informed everyone, even family, that the doctors are handling it before anybody even inquired about an autopsy. I was immediately worried about that phrase. Which medical professionals, which pathologists, which tests were carried out? People in the know reported that Charlie's body had not been received yet. Nothing to do, nothing to report, no paperwork pertaining to chain of possession, not a single thing. Despite this, Erica continued talking as though the task was already complete. Have doubts? And that was only the start. Several sources now state that Erica seemed abnormally nervous in the days leading up to Charlie's death. She would make late-night phone calls, lock her phone, and step outside to have discussions she would normally have in the open. According to those closest to her, whenever asked whether everything was well, she appeared anxious, defensive, and tight. Her actions went from strange to concerning the morning Charlie passed away. Claimants say she contacted a private attorney and a funeral director before informing family. Not the medical center, not direct blood relations, individuals who should not be contacted in an emergency, a legal representative, and a mortuary. Unless they're getting ready for something, no one does that. Later, when relatives wanted to know the results of the autopsy, Erica provided an explanation that, looking back, felt unsettling. Everything is being handled properly, the specifics don't matter, that expression is now considered a warning sign. The details did more than appear fishy as time went on. They started fighting each other. The autopsy was finished that very day, she told some individuals. We are awaiting test results, she told others. She assured a third party that an autopsy was unnecessary. 3 totally different answers from the same person depending on who was asking. As those closest to her tried to make sense of the inconsistencies, Erica took yet another forceful step. Instant cremation was her favored method, no memorial, not a time for contemplation. Not the usual 48 to 72 hours most cemeteries advise. Swift, as in how quickly can this be completed? Her actions accelerated beyond what was. Reasonable, beyond the time needed for family to gather, and beyond the time required to complete an autopsy report. After that, it became hard to look away. According to relatives, Erica changed the subject, claimed the hospital misplaced papers or avoided requests to see the autopsy report she previously said existed. A medical record connected to a high-profile death does not simply vanish unless someone deliberately hides it. Then the breaking news hit. Someone with access to company records revealed an autopsy had been scheduled. According to Erica, the inspection started after the fact. Prior to final assessment, the body was moved. Before the report was processed, cremation took place. Consequently, the autopsy was left unfinished. The medical examiner's signature was never obtained. And before answers could arrive, the tangible evidence, the body, was gone. Suspicion shifted. It was intentional. The key question is now very clear. Before the autopsy was complete, why did Erica want Charlie cremated? What did she fear investigators might find? What was she attempting to conceal from her family? In what way did the study cast doubt on the narrative she fought to protect? The leak states Erica's public narrative was at odds with preliminary results obtained prior to removal of the body. Those results prompted more questions about cause of death, questions cremation rendered unanswerable. Even more disturbing, Erica may have signed the cremation authorization before the body was transported by the medical examiner. When exactly was the transfer going to take place? Why sign paperwork ahead of time? Who warned her of the urgency? Investigators say for Erica's timeline to make sense, she either had secret information the public did not, or she was trying to hide information the public should have known. That is why word of this leak is traveling fast across social media. Because whether intentional or not, her actions destroyed any possibility of a thorough probe. Everyone is now looking for answers. And according to the source, even more troubling details may yet emerge. As detectives dug deeper into her timeline, Erica Kirk's story began to fall apart. Dispersed accusations, uncomfortable murmurs, contradictory statements, missing paperwork, anxious phone calls, and decisions that only make sense if she was trying to influence the outcome from the moment Charlie took his last breath. The first major conflict involved timestamps. Erica publicly claimed the autopsy was finished within hours. Yet medical examiner records show the body was not brought to the facility until more than 11 hours after Charlie's official time of death. She could not have shared findings before the autopsy even began. Could she? Everything collapsed with that question. Two possibilities remained. Either Erica was given misleading information, or she knowingly gave it. The next findings made the answer appear increasingly clear. Phone records leaked by a funeral home insider show Erica made 3 calls to the crematorium in the hours leading up to Charlie's transfer. Before that. Not while waiting. First things first. The timing of the autopsy seemed crystal clear to her. One call log included a disturbing note from the employee handling the request. Customer wants immediate assistance. Quite pressing. Rejected the usual method of verification. Refusing verification in a high-profile death raises suspicion. Still, she wasn't finished. According to allegations, Erica reportedly overheard the medical examiner telling relatives, "Don't worry," when he tried to confirm their wishes. A legal necessity in many countries. I'm already on board. But that was not the case. Documents show Erica's signature on the cremation order hours before the medical examiner finished the initial assessment. The document was created at 9:43 a.m. The examiner's first internal report was recorded at 10:52 a.m. Before the examiner even laid eyes on the body, she had consented to cremation. That was a significant inconsistency, and not the last. Unsettling patterns emerged as investigators matched Erica's public statements with private conversations and shifting timelines. Whenever someone challenged her account, she deflected. One relative says when toxicology tests were mentioned, Erica snapped, "Why does it matter?" and left. Another family member wanted to speak with the medical examiner privately. Erica responded, "They're extremely busy. Nothing further can be said at this time." Charlie's mother revealed the most tragic inconsistency. She says she was never offered official documentation, not even a summary, before cremation. In a later interview, she stated, "I never agreed to anything." According to Erica, it was already done. That statement raises a terrible possibility. Did Erica act swiftly to prevent anyone from intervening? Records show her actions moved faster than most funeral protocols allow. Within 4 hours of the autopsy beginning, the cremation order was submitted. Additional records suggest she attempted to stop the autopsy early. Indeed, stopped. An internal communication from the medical examiner's office reads, "Outside party requesting immediate release of body, test not yet administered." That single phrase changes everything. It shows the body was moved before the investigation was complete. As a result, the incomplete autopsy could not rule out specific causes of death, and never will. When material not included in the official papers was uncovered by a source inside the examiner's office, the situation took a turn for the worse. Inconsistencies were found between Erica's account of events and the results of the external examination. Even though the disclosure was vague, the insider characterized the data as warning signs that needed further examination. However, the corpse was removed too soon, prematurely removed. Whose request was this? Only one name appears in the records. My name is Erica. Another turn of events followed. Private texts sent by Erica to a close friend the morning following Charlie's murder were discovered by investigators. These communications strongly contradict her public explanations. "They are inquiring too much," she said in one message. "I would like if this were resolved shortly." A different one, "I'd rather have it finished before anyone starts digging." Prior to beginning excavations, that single line sent shockwaves through the investigation. Apparently, Erica's behavior was not driven by sadness. She acted frightened, worried about autopsy results, worried about questions medical examiners might ask, reluctant to grant family members extra time, concerned about their demands. Out of nowhere, all the stars lined together: the time crunch, the concealment, the inconsistencies, no calls intercepted, denial of access to documents, immediate cremation, changing timelines. Everything pointed to one conclusion: someone was trying to cover up evidence. When detectives thought they had mapped Erica's pattern of conduct, news broke of an even more stunning bombshell. According to an insider at the funeral home, one of Erica's requests was for private access to the remains before the formal procedure began. She doesn't require that. So why? What transpired in that private window? Exactly who showed up? What did she bring? What was she removing? According to the whistleblower, no one at the funeral home will speak. They fear losing their jobs. Family members claim they were unaware the request even existed. Yet stolen internal documents show a manager marked the request as strange and worrying, recommending extensive documentation. That material cannot be located, no longer there. Like the autopsy report Erica insisted existed. Like the toxicological updates she mentioned, like the unfinished last words of the medical examiner. Erica's schedule was more than shaky, it was giving way. With each new disclosure, another discrepancy surfaced. With each missing document, suspicion deepened. With each contradictory remark, the controversy intensified. Then an unexpected finding catapulted the narrative from suspect to explosive. Minutes after the interim report was finalized, Erica left a time-stamped message for the medical examiner. A terrifying, hurried, short message arrived. Immediately end the test. Now is the time for his freedom. The rest won't be necessary. The rest won't be necessary. The inquiry now revolves around that sentence. What remaining task did she not want finished? If completed thoroughly, what would it have shown? When cremation was legalized, what truth disappeared? Here's the twist. According to the whistleblower, something was uncovered during the incomplete autopsy. Something Erica was made aware of. Something that frightened her. Something that had to be buried immediately. At this time, we do not know what it was. We do not know how severe it may have been. We do not know who else was aware. But the leak reveals one thing. The moment Erica learned the medical examiner's findings would contradict her public story, she ensured the body was removed. After Erica ordered Charlie's cremation, the inquiry should have ended. Most people assumed there was nothing left to investigate. The body was gone. The autopsy unfinished. Physical proof inconclusive. No medical inconsistencies confirmed. The truth unreachable. Erica was relying on exactly that. She believed she had erased everything. She believed her story was set in stone. Without the body, no one could dispute her account. What she failed to see was that pieces of the autopsy still existed. Notes, draft pages, internal documents, electronic timestamps, audio logs, paper trails she believed had been eliminated. As those fragments surfaced, suspicion descended upon the entire case. It began with a young woman who briefly served as an assistant to the medical examiner on the case. She had felt uneasy, she leaked no photos, she released no official files. Instead, she disclosed something more unsettling. Her scribbled notes from the incomplete exam. In every direction, they conflicted with Erica's claims. The assistant documented findings that did not match the timeline Erica, the spouse, provided. Some markings on Charlie's body did not align with Erica's description of his final hours. Internal indicators triggered review flags requiring thorough investigation. Review flags are mandatory, they cannot be disabled. Their legal standing requires the autopsy to proceed. But before that evaluation could be completed, Erica had the body removed. Suspicion dissolved. That was obstruction. Those notes were only the beginning. Days later, a partially completed digital report from the examiner's system leaked. Sections were marked as requiring further testing. Until further notice, the cause remained unclear. Erica halted continuation, and it never resumed. The report's first impressions section revealed another disturbing note. These results do not support the initial claims made by the family representative, the examiner wrote. The family representative, Erica. What was she trying to conceal? That became the first question on everyone's mind. Which detail of her account conflicted with the facts? Why insist so strongly on cremation before these documents surfaced? Cell tower data from the morning of Charlie's death linked to Erica's phone cast an even darker shadow. In her account, events unfolded differently. She claimed she rushed to contact authorities after finding Charlie unconscious. Phone records suggest otherwise. Before contacting anyone else, she made multiple outbound calls to an unlisted number. She spoke for 7 minutes with a legal advisor before calling for medical assistance. Most concerning, she contacted the crematorium before speaking with a physician or relatives. Why discuss cremation before medical help even arrived? No one could explain it. Not investigators, not relatives. Erica offered no explanation. Then the voicemail leak rocked the probe. Disturbed by her urgency, a funeral home staffer preserved a message Erica left on there after hours' line. The voicemail was frantic, urgent, panicked. Please do this immediately. Our anticipation of the formality is palpable. Kindly return my call. This is time sensitive. Formalities? To her, the autopsy was only a formality. But the most unsettling revelation came when the assistant involved in releasing autopsy reports made one more statement. There was one aspect in the exam that caused instant alarm, but I'm not allowed to disclose it. A formal announcement is necessary. One detail. That was the detail Erica wanted kept secret. One element she wanted eliminated. One detail permanently erased by cremation. Speculation exploded. Was it trauma? Exposure? Something inconsistent with natural causes? They did not know. Later, the examiner's office confirmed an additional leak. Internal discrepancies relevant to cause of death had been identified. What killed him? Concerns about delays and misunderstandings gave way to a darker possibility. Erica's stated cause of death might not be accurate. The controversy descended deeper. According to a source, the examiner attempted to contact Erica before the partial autopsy concluded to clarify the timeline she provided. She remained unresponsive. 1 hour later, she texted, "Feel free to utilize the information I already provided you with. Not sure what more you could use. Feel free to reach out if you need clarification. Do not allow me to be of service." She did not seek explanation. She sought control. The probe intensified when an unnamed funeral home employee disclosed a document Erica had signed. The signatory understands and agrees that the autopsy may not be fully completed when the body is cremated. She knew the autopsy was incomplete. She knew cremation would nullify evidence. She knew the consequences. She signed anyway. However, something crucial was still lacking. Most importantly, what did the examiner notice that caused Erica such extreme fear? The solution emerged in an unforeseen manner thanks to a whistleblower who claimed to have seen the partial digital file. The whistleblower sent shivers down investigators' spines by sharing a brief summary without photographs or complete papers. The examiner's findings contradicted the spouse's explanation. It prompted inquiries that required a thorough examination, an exhaustive examination, not optional, legal, in detail, possibly unlawful. Erica demanded the cremation be done immediately, averting the probe. Then the plot twist that sent the tale into a tailspin occurred. The source added that the discrepancy was tangible, an additional charge, physical. Not a chemical instability, no cardiac problem, no minor medical issue, something observable, something that can be seen. The examiner saw something at odds with Erica's story. Erica wanted the body removed as quickly as possible so no one else could see it. Cremation had to be done quickly because of this. Call interceptions happened because of this. Timelines changed because of this. Relevant paperwork was redacted because of this. She signed early because of this. Questions were hushed because of this. The documentation did not include the truth, the body revealed the truth, and the truth vanished when the body was removed. Unfortunately, investigators now have only fragments, digital entries, contradictory information, timestamps, phone records, handwritten notes, and one physically recorded detail. something Erica wished the fires would erase forever. An even bigger storyline now threatens to erupt because the one physical irregularity she tried to eradicate may still surface. When word spread about leaked documents, handwritten notes, missing paperwork, urgent cremation requests, timeline anomalies, and consistency issues, the internet did more than react. It ignited. What began as murmurs became a raging inferno across every platform. Countless people viewed, shared, stitched, and reposted every update. A small scandal had evolved into something larger. The whole country began fixating on one question. What was Erica Kirk trying to conceal? The earliest response came from family members. Those who had remained silent out of respect or fear finally spoke. Speaking anonymously, one close relative said, "We trusted her. None of this makes sense. We are done." Another relative stated, "She poisoned our chance to discover the truth. She severed all ties between us." Anger was raw. The grief was immense. People were devastated the autopsy was never completed. Devastated that answers vanished. Heartbroken that cremation happened without transparency. Shock deepened when Charlie's mother told investigators she never consented to cremation. "They told me it was too late," she said in an audio recording released shortly after. Too late? How? Someone approved it. Outrage erupted across social media. Why doesn't his mother get a say? She was completely cut out. From the very beginning, Erica was in control. Comment sections became battlegrounds, demanding accountability, truth, and justice. Then medical voices entered the conversation. Doctors on TikTok, YouTube forensic analysts, certified medical examiners, former autopsy technicians. Many questioned Erica's decision to halt the examination. One viral video stated that no credible medical examiner abruptly ends an examination due to pressure. Another expert described the decision as highly unusual. Another explained the terrifying implication. If discrepancies appear, further testing can rule out natural causes. Removing the body removes proof. Within hours, the video gained millions of views, shifting public reaction from confusion to fury. Next came podcasters. True crime creators sensed a major narrative unfolding. One prominent analyst declared there was clear evidence of deliberate interference, and that someone did not want the truth exposed. Millions agreed. Even mainstream media, typically cautious with disputed allegations, began examining timeline inconsistencies. One headline questioned the decision to cremate Charlie before the autopsy was complete. Another pointed out troubling gaps in Erica Kirk's account. But the public response was even more powerful. From longtime followers to people who had never heard of Erica, everyone had an opinion. Some said she panicked, and nobody rushes cremation without a reason. Others insisted it was clearly a cover-up. A common theme echoed through thousands of comments. Why lie if the truth is simple? At its peak, the controversy intensified when an anonymous whistleblower, possibly the same source behind earlier leaks, posted a chilling message. This isn't even the worst part. That single sentence went viral. Creators speculated nonstop. Theories amassed millions of views. Was there bodily harm? Poisoning? Timeline manipulation? Why restrict access? Why pre-sign cremation papers? What did the examiner see that terrified her? A person's life had become a global narrative. And Erica vanished. No statement video, no live stream, no apology, no explanation, only silence. That silence intensified the backlash. Brands quietly distanced themselves. Former collaborators removed past content. Early defenders began posting videos withdrawing support. Everything shifted when audio surfaced of Erica urging the examiner's office to use only the information already provided. Viewers replayed it repeatedly in shock. How could she control that process? Why refuse further examination? She did not want the truth. She wanted her version. A common demand spread across social media: release the real autopsy. Hashtags exploded across platforms. Charlie deserves justice. Where is the report? Why the rush to cremate? Erica must explain. Complete the examination. Public figures joined the chorus, hinting at suspicion without direct accusations. Members of the investigative community reacted most strongly. According to forensic experts, legal analysts, and former prosecutors, the usual markers of a criminal inquiry include a jumbled timeline, coerced cremation, an inadequate autopsy, intercepted calls, concealed paperwork, destroyed evidence, and glaring contradictions. It shocked everyone. What began as a terrible event suddenly appeared to point towards suspected criminal activity. Observers noted Erica's out-of-character behavior during her grief, and many believed she had serious questions to answer. By the end of the week, one thing was certain. People wanted more than explanations. They wanted accountability. They wanted the truth. They wanted the visible discrepancies exposed. And someone was preparing to reveal it, the most frightening possibility for Erica. A second message from the unnamed whistleblower assured readers that the information she had tried to conceal was now surfacing. The public was already captivated. Federal agents were reportedly circling. Relatives demanded answers. Experts highlighted inconsistencies. Then the whistleblower exposed a specific bodily detail Erica Kirk allegedly tried to conceal, information that intensified suspicion surrounding the incomplete autopsy. The encrypted message arrived in the middle of the night. The contradiction was on the neck. That single sentence sent shockwaves across social media. Scrolling stopped. Conversations froze. Because any injury to the neck can require a full investigation into cause of death, raising questions that cannot be quickly dismissed, explained away, or buried. Minutes later, the informant added more. Marks inconsistent with Erica's timeline and explanation had been observed. Markings signify what is seen. Documented, difficult to ignore. Suddenly, the pieces aligned. The time pressure. The denial of a full autopsy, the push for immediate cremation, intercepted calls, conflicting claims, a narrative dependent solely on her word. This was not chaos, it was prevention. A mark on the neck could indicate pressure, interference, struggle, or obstruction, something that contradicts Erica's account. Then the whistleblower released another disturbing detail. The examiner flagged the finding for complete investigation, and the test was halted immediately after the neck notes were entered. Global reaction exploded, theories spiraled, creators went live within minutes. Lawyers demanded investigations, experts declared the situation no longer merely suspicious. The alarm level was red. Then the situation grew darker. Recent leaks suggested Erica had more than casual familiarity with the crematorium. There appeared to be a close connection. She had communicated with the staff member handling expedited paperwork weeks before Charlie's death. Weeks. Not days, not hours. Weeks. Leaked texts referenced possibilities, planning, and authorizations long before anything in her timeline suggested urgency. The public was stunned. Why discuss cremation weeks in advance? What did she know? What was happening behind the scenes? Why establish a relationship with funeral staff before a tragedy? The most incriminating question. Why did she request that specific employee handle Charlie's body? Then another shock arrived. Audio from the cremation facility surfaced. In the recording, Erica's low, frantic voice emphasized urgency. Today, no delays. The examiner's opinion is irrelevant. Release him. Protocol did not permit release. Rules were not followed. Examiner cautions were ignored. Additional testing was required. Erica insisted the body be relocated. Within hours, everything was completed before examination of the neck, before toxicology, before determining cause of death. And then, it was gone. The cliffhanger did not come from another leak. It came from Erica herself. Minutes after the whistleblower's revelations went viral, she finally spoke. Not via video, not through an official statement, but in a single defensive post on her private account. She insisted no one knew the full truth. She urged an end to the destruction. She warned against tearing everything apart. What did she believe would surface? What remained to be destroyed? She sounded less like a grieving widow and more like someone watching a plan collapse. Then the whistleblower's final post before going silent warned. The neck marks were not the only discrepancy. More would be revealed by someone else. Another witness, another staff member, another insider. The next leak could change everything. For now, everything is on hold. Authorities wait. The family waits. And although Erica believed the proof had vanished forever, she is now scrambling in the dark to find it. But the truth is emerging at a pace that cannot be stopped. And the most significant discovery may still be ahead. Right now, we are in the middle of a storm. Erica Kirk cannot escape silence or destroy. Leaks are accelerating. Officials are speaking more openly. Inconsistencies continue to mount. Since Charlie's death, the world has wondered what truly happened and why Erica was so determined to erase any evidence. Now we know the autopsy was not completed. We know the marks did not match her account. We know the cremation was rushed with extreme urgency. We know she contacted the crematorium weeks beforehand. And we know the whistleblower warned that more revelations are coming. This will continue by a wide margin. Tell me what you think in the comments. This investigation is being driven forward by your questions, theories, and scrutiny. Do you believe Erica was hiding something? What might the marks on the neck indicate? Why contact a crematorium weeks in advance? And who is the other person with more knowledge? Every comment pushes this story further into public view. If this episode shocked you, if you whispered no way, or if the final revelation made your heart sink, click like to help more people see it. Be ready for further leaks, new whistleblowers, hidden documents, or a second physical inconsistency, because we will be here, breaking it down the moment it happens. Make sure you are subscribed. Turn on alerts. The story is far from over. The controversy is unfolding in real time. And eventually,